Welcome, everyone, for the next episode of Meet the Members of the Baltimore-Annapolis Professionals LinkedIn Group. Today we have Lee with us. Welcome, Lee.
Hello. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Very well. It's all pleasure. I'm excited to have you here today. And Lee, as we discussed, one of the first things we do is, since most of the members probably don't know who you are, which I don't know why they don't, by the way. They should know who you are. But since many don't, would love you to start off by giving your elevator pitch. Tell us who you are, what you do, who you do it for, and just let us have an opportunity to get to know you.
Well, thank you, Arthur. So again, my name is Lee Abramovitz. I've been a certified financial planner for 23 years here in Baltimore, and I work primarily with professionals and business owners in helping them achieve their financial goals and get to a point in their life where they have a sense of financial independence, where they can go out, start checking off their bucket list, living life to the fullest, and protecting their wealth that allows them to live that life and protect that wealth from creditors, predators, in-laws, outlaws, and of course the IRS as well.
Wonderful. So you've been doing this for quite a few years, 23. I guess the first thing that always fascinates me when someone's been in the business for a long time, how has the business changed in those 23 years?
Well, I think we're sort of following along the path of the medical industry. We used to be in the medical industry, for example, you go to any doctor you want, and doctors really could spend a lot of time. And over the years, the medical industry went to sort of that HMO format. And what's happening in the financial industry is very similar. There's a lot of thinning margins. There's a lot of expectation for advisors to focus on very high net worth individuals. And what I found is, over the last 23 years, the smaller individuals, the small business owners, the employees, mom and pop, who they're just working for a living, working for somebody. They're finding it harder and harder to get financial advice because the industry has become far more compliant, far more streamlined, far more thinning of margins. So it's been hard for everyone. Changes that are really to protect the investor, which I applaud, have unfortunately had a reverse effect, I think, and caused it to be harder to give advice to most people. So I pride myself in being able to stay true to my beliefs and still going the extra mile for my clients, even though the industry has made it harder to do so.
Right, the classic unintended consequence.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And so, you've got these professionals, might be employees, might be owners of businesses. Is there some general things that you work with them on that seems to have a recurring presence with your clients?
Well, taxes are always a big issue for my clients. It's very easy to, let's say, go to a T. Rowe Price or a Vanguard or any financial advisor out there and pick good investments, or at least attempt to. But when you look at everything from a cross-disciplinary basis, not just from an investment or insurance basis, but also when you're looking at things from a legal and tax perspective, now taking that comprehensive approach allows us to make a huge difference in our clients' lives. So we focus on how do we minimize taxes. We focus on risk management. We also focus on investment strategies that incorporate both those things, as well as do you have enough life insurance? business owners who have partners. Do you have a buy-sell agreement? Do you have a business succession strategy? So there's really a lot that we can talk about with our clients, whether they're business owners or professionals or employees. I think everyone could use a little advice. Whether they take it or not, it never hurts to get an opinion.
Right. And it's interesting, you said one thing there that that's kind of dear to my heart. You talked about a buy-sell agreement. It is amazing to me. I work, in my business, I work with business owners. That's all I work with is business owners. And it's amazing how many times I'll ask if they have a buy-sell, and I'm not in the financial field at all, but it's just one of those things I find interesting. And they'll say, oh, yeah, and then I'll ask the next question, okay, is it funded? And they'll look at me cross-eyed, like, well, what do you mean is it funded? And I think that's something that people, for some reason, don't, they just assume they die, their partner's wife, partner's husband, whatever, will just pay, they'll just pay them. It's like, well, where's that money coming from? And
it's amazing. Most family businesses, most small businesses tend to be non-existent by the third generation. You have the visionary who creates this wonderful business and passes it down to their children, and then it gets passed to the grandchildren. But by the time it gets to the grandchildren, because of poor planning, because of a lack of buy-sell agreements, a lack of business succession strategies, estate taxes, things like that. Once you get to that third generation, most of these family businesses tend to be defunct,
right.
And it is a shame.
Right. Yeah, it's one thing if they want to be out of business, if they want to sell it and move on. Yeah. It's another thing to do it because you have to. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So how do you measure success? You get a new client. At what point do you know that this has been successful for both them and yourself?
One of my very first clients wrote me a letter that I still have filed away here. I probably should frame it and put it in my office, but I still have this letter, and he wrote to me saying that I had given him tremendous confidence in his financial future. 23 years later, he's still my client, and in that letter, he told me that I should consider myself part of his family. And at the time, I was engaged to someone I was marrying, my now ex-wife. But he had said in the letter that if I were not engaged, he would have introduced me to his daughter. So that to me is a success. If I can impart financial confidence in my client's financial direction, and give them the security that they can pursue all their dreams, start checking off their bucket list, and feel that they're doing the best they can do, or they have at least addressed everything that's out there, and they've made choices based on being educated and doing what's right for them. I find that a success. You can't really put a dollar value on it because everyone has a different level of means. But from my perspective, when my clients leave my office and they give me a hug or a handshake and a kiss or that's success to me.
Excellent. Okay, sounds like success to me too, by the way. All right, great. Well, our LinkedIn group is made up of a bunch of professionals, business owners, and the like, and we're always looking to learn how to do better. Do you have any book you've read or advice you've received that you think would benefit our group by sharing with us?
Well, I read so many emails during the day, and there's so much literature in my career that I have to read that I tend to be more into experiences than sitting down and reading something. So I think as far as advice, there's a couple things that occurred. I just spent the last 6 months out west in the Colorado Rockies and actually all over the West, Idaho, Montana, California, Nevada, British Columbia.
Were you campaigning for president or something?
Well, I was actually doing a couple things. One, I was visiting clients that I have out west, and I was actually spending the ski season getting 105 days of skiing out west and still able to run my business mobily, basically.
Fantastic.
Took my laptop. It's wonderful. So one of the things I would say from this experience, and there were a couple that I could really expand on, but based on what I was able to accomplish, technology is amazing. And if you are not fully utilizing technology to live your dreams and expand your capabilities in business, then you really have to take another look at what technology can do for you. I never lost contact with any of my clients. All my clients felt I was still on top of everything as I was. And I even developed new clients through my travels. And the reason was, and I think this is the real key, I am a passionate skier. I love skiing. There's so much about skiing that's analogous to life itself. And I really feel enriched and empowered. And the neat thing is, when I meet other people on the ski slopes, they have the same passion I do. And when I meet these people who we share these passions, we're able to develop a relationship, and from that, new clients often blossom. So what I would suggest is that if you are not pursuing your passions on a regular basis, then you really need to look at how you're living your life, and you really need to start living the life you've always dreamed of living. Because through that, all kinds of opportunities come out of it.
Fantastic. Now did you do 105, or were you trying to do 105 days?
I was out west, so I was out west for basically 5 months and 3 weeks. So that comes out to be 170 days roughly. And I actually skied 105 of those days at 18 different ski resorts, and had basically packed up my SUV here in Baltimore, drove out west, and toured the entire West, including British Columbia, and covered 18 different states and 18 different ski resorts.
Wow. All right. Well, we can't fit it into this video, but I invite you, if you so choose. I'm not asking for an answer now. I would think our people would find it interesting if you actually forget the financial planning for a moment. If you just talked about the preparation of what went into taking 170 days, not off, obviously, you were still working, but 170 days of pursuing your dream, and how you, from a business point of view, how you pulled that off. So we'll talk about that later.
Sure. Actually, I've had several of my other friends say that I should write a book about my experiences, and it is on the to-do list.
Okay, excellent. Well, maybe this will give you, if we do that, maybe we'll give you the framework. But Thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And one of the things that I've loved about this project is that I've just gotten to meet a tremendous number of fascinating and excellent professionals, and you have added to that. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. And
okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm very honored. I'm very honored that you feel that way. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we end another session. Oh, well, thank you. So with that, we end another episode of Meet the Members of the Baltimore-Annapolis Professionals Group. Until next time, have a profitable week. Bye.